Welcome to the Strong Coach Podcast. I'm Mike Bledsoe here with Danny Rios and Ben Walker. And today we're going to tell you what is the Strong Coach. We get hit with this question all the time. What is the Strong Coach? And then we have to go into it. So we go, look, we're just going to make a big video on this. So here you go. What should they do first, Ben?
First, they should go to thestrongcoachpodcast.com and check out our 3-step coaching business tune-up. Give you a little taste of what the program has to offer and get you started so you can, when you join the program, you can hit the ground running because your business is already cruising.
It really is the first step. And it's free. So we try to make the first steps free. Give you a little
before you join the magic.
The magic.
Little
Yeah.
taste of it.
Yeah, we are putting this together because people are asking about it. We get DMs about this. I get emails about this. When people get on discovery calls with you, Danny, this is, likely one of the big questions. And now we get to cover it here so we can make those discovery calls even more valuable for and we're going to get into that on this show. But when we put this program together, what I intended to do was I was going to put together a curriculum. I was going to put together a coaching program for coaches because I was in the scene and I saw, oh, this is what could be better, so I'm going to create something. This will be beneficial. And what ended up happening is it turned it more into a lifestyle and a framework for life. People got into it and it transformed more than just their business. And I knew that we needed to be looking more at your personal life before we can talk about business. I didn't think it was going to create such a big shift. And still, I still think a lot of these things are normal, but then I hear feedback from people going through the program, and then I'm like, oh, these are the shifts that are happening. Danny, do you have any examples of this? You've been coaching the program for a year now, and the business shifts are happening, but the personal shifts are too. How are people's lifestyles changing when getting into the program? Where are they typically coming from?
So typically people come in to the program with a lack of focus and oftentimes focusing on what they don't want. And they don't often have the tools or framework into actually making something work for themselves, including their businesses. We don't get taught in school on how to do this. We get taught to work long hours and very, very much of that corporate construct. So a lot of coaches that are stepping into what we're teaching them, a lot of this is brand new. And one of the big things that we're doing is we're unlearning old behavior with new tools to allow this new framework for it to work. So when coaches start applying the principles that we teach in money, time and energy cultivation, leadership, language, all of a sudden they start discovering things for themselves that they've never had before. And they start having major shifts in their lives, all areas of their lives, not just business. So, we focus on self and everything starts rippling out from that. But everybody's affected differently. We had a coach who 9 years in business owned a gym, and before we even touched the money modules, he was on his way to hitting his best quarter ever. And because he was showing up differently and he was just happier. You can't put a metric on that. You just can't put a metric on that. And so we get a little bit of everything. You just don't know what you'll get out of the program. For some people, it's like a better relationship with their partners, a better relationship with their clients. For some people, there's some people who could sleep better now. There's people who are off Adderall from the program. You just don't know what's going to happen for you because oftentimes we don't know what's holding us back. And so what we do in the program is we're taking a deeper look at what's giving you the results in your life, and we start putting energy into it. We start taking action. And so that would be the biggest common theme is action. And action where it's needed. Not putting
Focused action.
Focused action. Yeah. So we'll go back to coaches come into the calls without focus many times.
Well, we start off well. It depends. I mean, here's the thing: is we can put a lot of energy into things. We can take a lot of action, but if it's not going in the right direction, day one is where are we going? And most coaches never sit down and think about, well, where do I want my life to be in 5 or 10 years from now? And if you've never had that consideration, then you're going to go somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but likely not where you wanted to end up, you know. And one of the biggest things that we do that's different than most programs, and why I wanted to create this program is the core problem I saw with the way coaches were doing things before they were exposed to this, and the way that a lot of programs that I've seen out there do it, is they just give you a business system. Just follow my system and you'll make more money. And that may be true. You may make more money, but you end up building a business you hate.
Mm-hmm.
And so our core thing is what is the life you want to live? You know, what's the lifestyle you want to live? How do you want to be? Um, and then let's build a business to support that. And which means that I can't hand you a system like, here's step one, here's step two,
Mm-hmm.
here's step three. We do have a very specific process that walks you through on discovering your own business and how it should be how it should function and the offers you should have and all that. But everybody's dream about the life they want to live is a little bit different. So the business that's going to support that is going to be different. And what I love about this is something that took me years to discover is I can be the best coach possible when my life is in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up in the morning excited, you know, so many coaches are waking up burnout.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up excited and happy and I've got my time where I get to work out and take care of myself and eat well, I can show up for my clients in a whole new way. People go, "Wow, you're an amazing coach." And it's like, "Yeah, 10 years ago nobody would have said that." I was a shitty coach.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a great coach. I had a lot of knowledge. I tried really hard. I put in a lot of hours, but what lacked was my ability to be present because I was worried about the business. I was worried about money. I was worried about getting enough sleep. I was tired. I was burnt out. Of course, I can't be the best coach
Mm-hmm.
ever. And I thought that reading more books would get me there and another certification would get me there and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I got my own life in order and then all of a sudden, all the accumulated knowledge over the years, I was actually able to put into practice.
It's very similar to coaching movement, actually, because like you could look at someone coming in and like their squat is all messed up, and you could give them a bunch of mobility drills, but the first thing you should check in with is what's their breathing like,
Yeah.
because it might not be a stretching matter, it might be their breathing. So fixing that thing, which doesn't initially doesn't seem like the linear, like, oh, you're struggling to get to parallel, let's work on your ankle mobility. It's the less obvious thing, and it's what is actually going to pay you back the most. So getting your own life in order then allows you to show up in your business in whatever capacity that you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oftentimes the less obvious thing is the counterintuitive thing, is do the opposite of what you're doing. A lot of our coaches come in burnt out.
Call it a George Costanza. Remember that Seinfeld where they just took George started taking the opposite advice from Kramer.
Okay, yeah.
And his life started going
yeah.
well.
Yeah, so that principle actually works really well.
Well, yeah, because the thing you're doing isn't working.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And one of the big ones is filling your cup, and that's what you fill your own cup, and that allows you to pour from that overflow. And most coaches are pouring from an empty cup, and you feel the burnout. Oftentimes you start feeling some resentment towards your own business, your clients, your employees, and imagine what you're creating from that. So, yeah, fill your cup.
And
Fill your
it's
cup.
too, when you're resenting your clients and resenting your business, you're projecting the problem outside of yourself. And if you look inward and go, okay, what can I do to make the situation better, as opposed to someone else, because you can't do anything about other people. You can suggest stuff, but ultimately, like if your clients are doing something you don't like, it's the like or your business isn't showing up the way you like. It's not a matter of necessarily changing that. It's
Mhm.
what's going on inside you that's causing you to show up in your business, that's then creating a business that you don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're wanting other people to be different, you're wasting a shitload of time.
The biggest fantasy is wanting other people to be different.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So when we started the Strong Coach, for me it came from a place of inspiration. It was I hopped in a float tank, and all of a sudden I realized that coaches were my favorite clients, and I saw that that coaches needed a lot of help, and we created the program. It was a few days later. I put the idea out there to the audience, and then got a lot of feedback. Opened it up a beta group. Only want to let 5 people in. I ended up letting 6 in because one of them I had to put her in after talking to her. Had 100 applicants, took 6, and then built the curriculum around that, and then kept on bringing people in and refining the curriculum over time. And we're refining the curriculum even to this day.
We will always be refining the curriculum.
Yeah. Always to this day. And what's really cool is I've started a lot of different businesses, and none of them have ever caught traction like this. None of them have ever, like, oh, this is really needed. Oh, this is really catching. People want to be a part of this. And what's happened is we now have a community.
Mhm.
We have this whole community, and people are talking to each other, and things are happening I don't even know about a lot of times. Danny or Ben will come to me and go, "Oh, we're doing this thing, or this thing is happening." I'm going, "Oh shit!"
People show up with Strong Coach tattoos.
People show up. There are at least 2 Strong Coach tattoos out there right now.
Yeah.
So the community is really, really strong. Anyone who comes into the programs, there's just, like we were saying at the beginning, there's this lifestyle that happens, and when you start adopting these concepts into your life and you start implementing them, you'll notice that things will change for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people you want to spend time with are also the people who have this lifestyle. So if you're sitting on the outside of the Strong Coach right now and you're looking in and going, I don't know if that, like, if I'm going to fit in or whatever, is yeah, you come in, go through, apply the concepts, and then you'll find, oh, these are the people who I actually want to be with. These are the people who are living their best life. They're putting themselves first. They're putting themselves in a place where they can fill their cup and give from the overflow.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole community of excitement and fun and creativity. There's so much creativity in the community, and I think it's because everyone is taking care of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, like, collaboration is easy. There's a lot of coaches have a hard time collaborating. I know I used to have a hard time collaborating because there wasn't enough to go around. There was a scarcity, and then once you take on these concepts from the Strong Coach and you learn how to apply them to your life, all of a sudden abundance, and these are woo words at times, but like there's this sense of there's more than enough to go around, and how are we going to share? How are we going to make things better for ourselves? How are we going to make things better for our clients? And what can we create together?
Absolutely. One of the things with why the community is so strong is we're teaching coaches to be supported. You're in the business of supporting others, and most coaches out there don't have support for themselves. So we go back to leadership. Practice what you preach. You're telling people to come and sign up for you. This was a big realization for me yesterday. It's like for me to get myself back into getting support. And I've known this, and
I'll support you, Danny.
thanks, Mike. And yeah, and with even our own community, I do have that support.
Yeah.
It's different though when you're actually invested in it and financially invested. It's a different game. And another thing that makes our program really well, you don't with regard to support, you're not stepping into just like a group scenario. You have a one-on-one mentor in our process that's guiding you, providing you with more direct support. And in addition to that, you have the entire community of coaches. We just had coaches fly into another coaches at our retreat, and everybody goes and a lot of people went and supported that coach, and they went from areas far away to make it happen. And
Yeah, Alex Morningstar
Yep.
in our mastermind. Yeah, he had a men's retreat,
Mhm.
and yeah, we had many people inside the mastermind come out and participate. And I got a phone call from one of our guys, Muka, and he said he goes, "Why didn't I do this sooner?"
Yeah.
That's a common phrase. "Oh, why didn't I do this?" Like, it's okay, it's perfect. This is,
Yeah.
it took you the perfect amount of time to get to whatever you needed. But yeah, they did this men's retreat, and it was really good. What I'm seeing, especially with the mastermind, is that super tight group
Yeah.
where they're interacting all the time. They're interacting more with each other than they are with me,
Mhm.
and I get to insert myself and be surprised, and it's super satisfying. Yeah.
And then
looking
there's
at these
also
guys.
Amanda went to Memphis to see Brooks about
Yeah.
bringing, like, franchising his gym to Austin, from Memphis to Austin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was something that was in their 90-day plan at the summit. And then boom, within 90 days they're making it
Yeah,
happen.
we're at the
already.
summit, and it was it he had written it down in his vision, and she had written it down in her
Yeah,
vision.
and he said his vision,
Separately.
and then she turns around and goes, "I wrote down that same thing."
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we had Leo and Mike Slemmy.
Yeah.
They got together, did something last weekend with a mace, and so two,
And the
top
Bulgarian bags.
Bulgarian
yeah.
bag world-class coaches getting together, collaborating, and this is stuff that's happening like within the past month. Like this is, if we go back and back, there's coaches that have partnered up and done online programs together. Yeah, it's less. This is also why it works. Everybody's coming from the same framework, so we speak the same language.
That's super important. How many disagreements happen simply because people are speaking a different language?
Most disagreements,
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
I don't know how many times after I started focusing on language, and every once in a while I still get in a disagreement, and I realize we're trying to make the same point. And I point that out, and then I just concede and go, "Cool, you're right."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Because I'm right too.
yeah, it's like I don't need to be. I don't need you to think I'm right because I am. Just kidding. Oh shit.
Man.
Yeah, but speaking the same language. To your point, that's huge. People are speaking the same language. The possibilities are infinite.
Yeah, everything just moves quicker. Just more things get done. We know exactly what we're talking about, where to put the focus, where to shift the energy, and yeah, it's great stuff.
And
Yeah.
there's a cool element of competition within the community as well. And I mean competition. I wrote down competeer because that's the origin of that word, and it means to journey together. So
Ah.
competition isn't about I'm gonna beat you down.
Did you make that word up, or is that a real word?
It's Latin. It's a real word. It's in
Ah.
Flow in Sports. I read that this.
It's about Chicks and Me High.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That book's so good. And this is the big thing that stuck with me is that to journey together means that in order to see how far you can go, how good you are, you need someone that you're running against to push each other.
Yeah.
So there's totally times when I'm looking at the community and I'm seeing people doing retreats or like you were telling me about how like Mike Salemi travels to different people. He doesn't like have anyone come to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, can I do that? I bet I can. Let's see. And I wouldn't have had that idea without seeing all these other things from the community. So it's a self-leveling up community because as soon as one person levels up, everyone looks around and goes, "Oh, that's possible? Well, shit, what can I do?"
Yeah, it opens up possibility left and
Yep.
right, left and right. So I point out there's a few ways that people can get into the community, and number one, you're doing one of them right now. We're posting up these podcasts very frequently. We have the YouTube channel, we have Instagram. These are all areas where you can start participating. You'll be, you're not in the community. But you can participate in the conversations. There's a lot of comments going on the DMs. Comment on YouTube. There's going to be a lot of conversations. We will hop on there and have conversations with you. We're open. Shoot us DMs. All this kind of stuff. You can start participating in the Strong Coach community immediately, and by just listening, this is your first step. And if you want to go just a little bit further, you want to go. If you got courage, it takes a little bit of courage to do this. Is you're gonna hop on the phone with Danny for a discovery call. So you can do the podcast. You can follow on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Go to strongcoachpodcast.com. You can click the button, and we actually, before you get on discovery call, you'll get the
Three-step coaching business tune-up.
boom. So you'll get that, which is it's basically curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So outside community, you get that curriculum, but we'll start having a conversation from there. And we'll give you information that you can use immediately to start improving your coaching business. So, and you'll have a chance to hop on a call with Danny. It's a free discovery call. Danny, what goes on these calls?
We're coaching you. My number one concern from that, it's not a concern. What I want to accomplish in that phone call is to give you the most valuable information where you're at right now. It's going to be different for everybody. Some people, we're going to do some story work. If you don't know what that is, we're going to start shifting identities and talking about the way you're showing up in life and how you can start showing up differently to get different results in your life. Anywhere from that to creating a 10-year vision. We do that on the phone call. We've had coaches hop off the phone call and open up gyms after that. We have coaches that reach back out to us, after they join the program, and it's like, hey, that phone call that we had allowed me to change my offer, and now I could afford the program. So it's a discovery call where we're really finding out and finding accuracy on what really is going on. For me, I don't like to give advice in business unless I know where your life is going. So for me to support you, I'm going to ask a lot of questions to find accuracy. And we start shaping the focus of your personal life, your business, and we dabble with everything in those phone calls. So yeah, that's what we do. We're there to give you value, and if you're a good fit for the program, and the program's a good fit for you, it naturally happens. Like you will want to be a part of it if that once we get you to that call, and it will just naturally happen. If it's not for you, it's not for you, right? Not every coach is for everybody. So yeah, that's what we do. We're here to provide you value and start getting you in the process to accomplishing the things you want in your life from your business. And we do it in an hour. So yeah, it's fun. You're gonna learn. We have a great time. I enjoy the phone calls. We're laughing a lot of it, and you'll find out why we laugh. So
I hear a lot of these
yeah.
phone calls. I'm in the background. We're in the office together. I'm back here working on my laptop or fucking off, and, and I just hear Danny laughing. He's on discovery calls and laughing. It just brings me so much pleasure knowing that you know we're running a business where we get to laugh and have fun throughout the whole thing,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
that's part of the culture of what we do.
Yeah, that's something that I learned, that growing and learning doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be something that is super strict. And no, it's actually you want to be very kind with it. You want to give, the kinder I've been in my own growth, the better results I get. And that's applied a lot more in all areas of my life. So, yeah, we're gonna have a good time, and that's one of the things I know that our coaches love. We're always vibing. It's a high vibration. It's a really high vibration. We have coaches that graduate from the program, go on their lives, and start doing their thing, and then they reach back to us like, "Hey, I miss the community. How could I get back involved?" So, so we're gonna have things post program too as well. Like we talked about the mastermind. So, people want to be in our community. It's we become that support system that coaches don't have. Before the strong coach, I felt so alone. So alone. I would try to talk business with people that had no place talking business. But that was my avenue of letting that go. It has made my personal life better because I can separate it better now. It's like I got my people where we crush business, crush coaching, and I go get to be myself outside of that. And what happens when you don't have that, it just kind of blurs. So this gives you that good separation as well.
And I like that you brought up that you felt alone, because I was noticing that when I went to the summit, is like we're all like there was no like awkward like, oh, hi, I like sort of know you. Like we were all friends immediately.
Hmm.
And
Well, you'd done the 90-day program with a decent amount of these people, so that
right.
helped. There were
Yeah.
there were people who had not done any of our programs, and the summit was their first exposure. I think I did see some people kind of come in and be like, "Whoo," but about 1 hour in, everyone else
Right.
was so welcoming that it was easy.
And a big part of that, I imagine, and that it was my experience, was that it can be so lonely. Like when you're doing one-on-one stuff, it's you and your client, and then you're done, and it's like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you get in this community where it's a whole bunch of people all doing the exact same thing, and there's so much excitement, and there's all the things where like you were saying, talking business, where normally you'd have a conversation and the person would just be like, oh yeah, mm-hmm, okay, because they don't really know what you're talking about.
Hmm.
And then you end up in one room with 49 other people who know what they're talking about and are also passionate about what they're talking about. And that made the summit so much fun. and that's what makes the community so much fun as well.
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback from our coaches that one of the things that they love is the how like-minded people are. It's coaches who are wanting to do things differently. We're doing things differently, and they want to do things differently for themselves, their businesses, and even the services they offer. One of the things that Mike mentioned earlier about, is this program right for me? Something that I experienced early. I was 3 to 6 months into coaching CrossFit, and I knew like in the first month that I wanted to open up a gym. So I went and visited a seminar with Ben Bergeron, and what was coming up for me then, it was I don't belong here. I'm not a gym owner. I'm not this. I'm not that. And that was a big challenge for me to overcome to step into that room. But what that did for me, it put me in a room of a bunch of gym owners. A year later, I owned a gym. So that's how this process worked. You are the average of the people you hang out with the most. So you hang out with coaches who are top notch, and you start having conversations in business, personal development, things that are going to shape your life and give you really good results. You're going to become the average of that just naturally. And our program is very inclusive. Is we take the time to, even when you step into it, even our intake process, like we really want to get to know you. We want to support you. And if you feel, we have coaches that are not even coaching that join our program. And by the time they're done with it, they have a career in it within 90 days. We have coaches that kind of dabble with it. At the end of it, they're paying their rent with 2 personal training clients. Does that sound familiar, Ben? So it's one of those things that you do belong, and you there's place for you to be supported. And if the fear comes up of like I don't belong, lean into it, and you'll find a lot of beauty and answers from that.
And it is good that you bring that up of like people who aren't coaching yet is like the what if or for some people who like are drawn to it but they're like I'm not a coach yet. You become a coach the moment you say I'm a coach.
Hmm.
So it's not a matter of oh well, I don't have any clients so I can't really call myself a coach. Yes, you can. You can say the words I am a coach. Who's to say you're wrong?
Yeah.
Because the clients aren't going to come to you unless they know you're a coach.
We have a coach going through the process right now. In his discovery, he was not a coach. He travels overseas, and that was his job. And part of that, we created some identities around being a coach. He's like, when people ask you, like, what do you do? Tell them you're a nutrition coach. He did that. He ended up signing up for the program. He didn't have nutrition clients. By the time he was in the program, he had nutrition clients, and all because he was just telling people he's a coach, which is marketing. You're letting people know what you're up to. And once you start letting people know what you're up to, it's easier for you to actually be a coach when you tell people you are a coach. So he got amazing results from that. So just choose it. It's a choice. Choose to be a coach. Start telling people. Start acting like a coach.
Right on. What about people? Some like fear of uncertainty is like, all right, am I gonna get on a call and then am I gonna sign up for a program? Is it gonna work for me? That uncertainty of like, I don't know what's gonna come up next. I imagine a lot of people have that fear when they begin engaging with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a fear that should totally be leaned into because I mean, how many times have people heard to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So there's inherent uncertainty in that. Like if you're upset with your business and like I mean a common thing I hear is like, "Oh, I want to travel more." You want that? Okay, you've got to do some things that you haven't done before, and those are going to be uncertain, those are going to be scary. And that's the
There's
point.
things you need to do that you weren't doing before, and there's things you need to stop doing that you've been doing.
Yeah.
Because if you keep doing the things you're doing, life will look exactly the way it is now. People want something different, but usually lack the ability, not the ability, I guess the courage to change. And so, my advice to anyone going through any of our programs is, if you practice courage, it will come.
Yep.
Courage is the number one asset here. Is if you have that and you do go through the process and you go all in, you will get a lot out of it.
Yeah. For me, when I stepped into the program, I was owning my gym. That was my main focus. and I just know to invest in myself, and anytime there's something that is attracting me, I'll lean into it. But for me, it was a huge like unknown, the work that I'm doing now. You just don't know what you don't know. From the Strong Coach program, that supported me into putting me in the position of the Strong Coach as the head coach of the program, and I had no certainty of that. It was created through the program, and yeah. So you just what I can encourage people is start changing your relationship with uncertainty. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to step into, because what's going to be on the other side is some brand new. The uncertainty will create that. So change your relationship with that.
And one of the first things you can do that also ties in with a common fear that people have about the program is the money. And I mean, personal story, when I joined the Strong Coach, it cost exactly how much money I had in my savings. I was totally broke. And that was something I hadn't experienced before. So your first, if you've never been broke before, maybe that's the thing you've never done that you need to do in order to achieve that, and really in order to recognize it's not that bad.
What did that do for you?
Oh, it made me so invested in the program because I put every every dollar I had into it. So I would have sat in a burning building if it meant making one of our calls.
Hmm.
That's
And
commitment. The level of investment that you have in something is going to be correlated to the commitment you have to it. One of the reasons I wouldn't want to work with a coach that was charging me $200 a month, because my level of commitment wouldn't be there. I need to spend more. It needs to be a higher percentage of what I make in order for me to really show up and go all in.
yeah, and that's how you get the results is by going all in because and what the heck is holding you back from going all in on your life?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is this program isn't just like, "Hey, do this with your clients. Go." It's figuring your own shit out so that you can then have a life that encompasses the business that you want as a piece of it, as one piece of your entire life. So if you're thinking about the price and that's giving you pause, take a step back and look at what this little fixing this thing with your business can then have the effect it can have on your entire life, and what's that worth to you? That's really the question.
Yeah. Boom. Agreed. I know that the first program I ever did, I emptied my bank account. I actually put shit on credit cards. Like I had to like move money around to make it happen. I didn't think I was gonna buy something, and then the guy who ended up being one of my mentors, he pitched me a program, and I go, huh, man, I have to do that. And you know what? I I made that money like because I did that. I can't even, I don't even know how much. I hundreds of times over.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I got it back and then double, or it wasn't even 10 times. It was like the next month I 10x'd my revenue the next month.
Hmm.
But then that turned in, it went from I was making random money from month to month to I had consistent recurring revenue because of what I learned from him.
Hmm.
And then that went on, it's still going on to this day. Like the thing I learned from him is what has created like the entire thing.
You said like 11 years in entrepreneurship, right? And
12 years now,
12
baby.
years.
Woo!
12 years.
12
Congrats,
years.
man. Congrats.
Yeah, I was 10 and a half years into entrepreneurship when I started the Strong Coach.
Yeah, and so you talked about how this is really growing. This, all everything that's happening. All this occurred because the investments you made in yourself early on.
Yeah.
The things that are happening now are not just random. It's been part of your process. And I've been fortunate to be supported from Mike in business, my personal life, before the Strong Coach program, and I got a lot of taste of the Strong Coach before the Strong Coach it was created, but it was through you going through your process that you were able to create such a like dense and potent little program that gets you really good results. When I went through it, a lot of it was repetition, and it also filled in the gaps of things that that were going to support me furthermore in my journey. And yeah, it's that commitment to yourself, those investments in yourself that allow you to create the Strong Coach program. And we're over 100 coaches now that have been, their lives have been transformed from this kind of work. And like I said, it looks super different for everybody, super different for everybody. What the big common theme is for everybody, though, is that they're living their lives in a lot more alignment and to how they really want to live their lives.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I started my first business, and oh my God, it was November of 2007.
Nice.
Well, we're recording this in November of 2019, so it was 12 years ago this month. And I spent the first year and a half not studying any business, just doing my thing, thinking things were going to work out. After a year and a half, started studying, marketing a bit. I just read the books, took the online seminar, like, no coaching, anything like that from '09 until 2013. Everything I did was just reading books and going to a couple workshops here and there. But it was 2013 is when that's when I said, I'm going all in. And at that time, I had the gym running, and Barbell Shrugged had been operating for a year and a half. And both businesses were making, like, the gym was making just enough money to I could live a comfortable, like I say comfortable. I was living in Memphis, Tennessee. My personal income was about $3,000 a month. It's not, that's something you can have a house and you can just live life that way. That's fine. And so I was comfortable there. And then the online business, we were doing like $1,000 to $3,000 a month. We had 4 business owners as part of that. We split that money up. We were trying to grow it. It really, we were running Barbell Shrug for a year and a half, making zero money essentially, just enough to keep the show going. And yeah, when I made that investment in 2013 and I went to that and really got a lot of help, that's when that huge shift happened. And I was able to get the gym in a place where I didn't need to be there all the time, which allowed me to put more attention into Barbell Shrugged. And we started making everything a real business, and we started putting a lot of attention where it needed to go. And a lot of people go, oh wow, Barbell Shrugged blew up. And it's like, it didn't. Dude, there was like 7 years of gym ownership up to that point. I'd been an athlete my whole life already. I'd already been coaching. I'd been doing all this stuff. Like, it didn't just like blow up. And then we were intentional about how we named the shows. Like, the way we marketed it was intentional. And by 2015, we had hit that was like when I look back, I go 2014, 2015. That was Barbell Shrugged peak. We were the number 1 podcast on for fitness and nutrition on iTunes, like number 1 ranked on there, and we were able to hold that. But it was all because I started investing in myself. I started showing up to things, hired coaches, mentors, going to masterminds and things like that. Every time I went, I got something that was so obvious that it was worth it. So yeah, that's why we do the things the way we do them. Is I discovered what worked for me, and what worked for me was being around high performers, being around those 5 people, that you're going to be the average of, and getting that information and then unlearning so that we can then learn. So, yeah, all that. Love it. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Look, you're listening to podcasts. You're on YouTube. Go hit the subscribe button on YouTube over there. Subscribe to the podcast. Go over to strongcoachpodcast.com. What are they getting over there, Ben?
A 3-step coaching business tune-up.
Perfect. And engage. Shoot us DMs on Instagram. We're putting out tons of content. And make sure to get on that discovery call with Danny so that you can get some clarity. Get some clarity about what it is that you want, even if you don't know what you want. This is a perfect call for that person.
If one of your biggest issues is money, bring it to the call. You will receive more money from that phone call. You will receive more money from that phone call, and we'll dive deeper into all that. Hop on the call.
Be vulnerable and talk about the scary things.
Yeah.
Danny's really good at holding space for the scary things.
Yeah, he can handle it. We've done a lot of scary things together. So, he's got this.
That's for the after-hours show.
That's right. We'll have to do the Black Label Strong Coach podcast.
You'll need a password to listen to it.
Yeah. That. Hey. All right. Let's. Hey, if we were to do some Black Label shows, you know, and these are like secret shows, the things behind the scenes, maybe some things we would record late night. Would you be interested?
Hit us in the DMs.
Hit us in the DMs. Let us know.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye-bye.